The night she fell from the stars, the desert wind howled like a lonely ghost across the dry planet. Jack leaned back in his chair outside his small metal shelter. The sky above him was filled with stars, some bright, some barely glowing. This planet had no name that anyone cared about. It was just a quiet place. That's why Jack came here. After the war, after losing everything, he didn't want noise or people. Just peace. But that night, peace ended. A strange sound ripped through the sky, a high-pitched scream followed by a fiery streak of light. Jack stood up fast. His eyes followed the object as it crashed into the nearby cliffs, sending dust and flames high into the air. What the hell was that? He whispered, grabbing his old rifle and flashlight. Jack ran toward the crash site. The ground was rough, the night cold. He had seen many crashes before, but something about this one felt different. As he climbed over the last rock, he saw it part of a small pod, still smoking. The metal looked alien. Strange glowing lines ran across the surface. It was broken, split open like an egg, and lying beside it was someone. It was a girl, but not human. She had smooth, pale blue skin and long silver hair that shimmered in the moonlight. Her eyes were closed. Blood, dark purple, dripped from a cut on her forehead. She wore a torn suit with symbols Jack didn't recognize. She looked about 19 in human years, maybe younger. "Hey," Jack said gently, kneeling beside her. "Can you hear me?" She groaned softly, her eyes barely opening. She tried to move, but her body trembled. "You're hurt. Don't move," he said, wrapping her in his jacket. She was cold, too cold. He didn't have time to think about it. He carried her back to his shelter, heart pounding the whole way. Inside, Jack placed her on his old cot and started checking her wounds. Some cuts, a dislocated shoulder, maybe a concussion. Nothing fatal. He cleaned the blood, wrapped her arm, and watched as her chest rose and fell slowly. She looked peaceful now, like a sleeping child. But who was she? And why was she alone? The next morning, she opened her eyes. Jack was heating water when he heard her speak, her voice soft and shaky. "Where am I?" "You're safe," Jack replied, handing her some warm water. "You crashed near my place. I brought you here." She took the cup with shaking hands and sipped. Then she looked at him with wide violet eyes. "They were chasing me. I had to run." The mating season started early this year. Jack raised an eyebrow. "Mating season?" She looked away, embarrassed. "It's something that happens to my kind. Every few years, our instincts change. Some clans control it. Others don't. I didn't want to be part of it." Jack didn't really understand, but he nodded anyway. "What's your name?" he asked. "Liari, Jack." She smiled a little, then winced from pain. The next few days passed slowly. Jack took care of Liari. He gave her food, helped her walk again, and even repaired her communication band. She was quiet, but kind. Sometimes she sang in a soft alien language while sitting by the fire. Sometimes she would just watch him too long, too silently. Jack started to notice things. Her skin would glow faintly in the evening. Her eyes would follow him more than usual. She often looked like she wanted to say something but held it back. One night, she touched his hand and quickly pulled away. He didn't know what was happening, but he felt something too. Then one night, she finally spoke. "Thank you for helping me," she said, her voice full of something more than gratitude. "Most people would have left me there." "You looked like you needed saving," Jack said simply. She stepped closer. "You don't understand what you've done. I was supposed to be taken, used. My body would have been not mine anymore. But now, because of you, I still have a choice." Jack frowned. "You don't owe me anything." But Liari only smiled. Before Jack could ask more, a red light blinked on her broken wrist device. A silent alarm. She looked at it and her face turned pale. "They found me." Jack stood. "Who?" "My clan. They'll come for me soon." Then we run, Jack said, loading his rifle. But Liari shook her head. It's not that simple. The mating season is almost at its peak. If they find me now, I won't be able to fight it. Jack stared at her, confused. What does that mean? Liari looked up at him, and for the first time, her eyes glowed bright purple. It means I might not be able to control what I become. Asterisk, the desert wind blew softly outside Jack's shelter, but inside, the air was heavy with silence. Liari stood in the middle of the room, her eyes glowing brighter now. Her hands were shaking. Her breathing was quick, and her body gave off a heat that was not there the night before. Jack didn't move. He kept his rifle low but ready. What do you mean you can't control it? He asked carefully. Liari sat down, pressing her palms against her temples. When the season comes, we lose balance. It's not just feelings, it's instinct. My kind, we are drawn to a match. If that match is near, the bond tries to form, even without consent. It's dangerous if we don't control it. Are you saying it's me? Jack asked, frowning. Liari didn't answer, but her eyes flicked up toward him for a brief moment, soft, sad, and scared. I didn't want it to be, she whispered. Jack backed away slightly, confused. You barely know me. I know enough, she said. Your presence calms the pull. But the closer it gets to peak, the harder it is to resist. I escaped my people so they wouldn't force a bond. Now my body is doing it on its own. Jack looked away, unsure what to say. He had faced monsters in war, but this was new. It wasn't a threat he could shoot. It was something ancient, something natural, and completely out of his control. He handed her a blanket. Rest, we'll figure this out. If your people are coming, we need to leave by morning. Liari pulled the blanket around her, her voice trembling. I can hold it back for a little while, but not forever. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He sat by the door, watching the stars. He had no training for this, no rules or codes. She wasn't a soldier or an enemy. She was just a girl, trying not to lose herself. He looked at the crashed pod earlier that day. It was almost beyond repair. But the core might still have power. Maybe he could charge the old rover. Maybe they could escape into the canyons. Just as he was planning their route, he heard soft footsteps behind him. Liari stood there, her eyes dimmer now, but her skin was glowing again. I can't sleep, she said. Jack nodded. Me neither. I want to show you something, she whispered. She held out her hand. He hesitated, then took it. She led him outside, barefoot in the cold sand. The stars stretched above them in waves. She stopped near a rock outcrop and sat, patting the space next to her. Jack sat down. In my world, she said, we believe the stars hold memory. When someone you love dies, we don't bury them. We let their light return to the sky. Jack looked up slowly. I like that. Liari glanced at him. Did you lose someone? He nodded. My squad. My little sister. The war took them. She was quiet for a moment, then placed her hand over his heart. You carry them, just like we do. Jack didn't pull away. Her touch didn't feel strange anymore. It felt calm. But then her body tensed. She closed her eyes and shook her head. No, not now. She pulled her hand back fast and stood up. It's happening again. I thought I had more time, she said, her voice now almost panicked. Jack stood too. What can I do? Stay away, she said. The closer you are, the stronger it gets. You're the match, Jack. You didn't choose this, but my body has. And it's getting worse. He stepped forward. I won't leave you alone. Liari's voice cracked. Then I might lose control. And if that happens, the bond becomes permanent. Not just for me, for you too. Jack froze. Permanent? What does that mean? He asked. It means your life will be tied to mine. Your thoughts, your emotions, even your future. Our kind doesn't bond lightly, Jack. If it happens, without full choice. It can destroy both people. Jack felt the weight of her words settle on him like gravity. A sound broke the silence. A faint rumble in the distance like ships landing. "They're here," she whispered. Jack turned toward the shelter. "We're leaving now." "No," she said. "You don't understand. If they see me with you, and the bond begins in front of them, they'll take you too. You'll be forced to stay, to finish the bond under their rules. You'll never leave." He looked her in the eyes. "I'm not afraid of them." "I am," Liari said, her voice breaking. "I'm afraid of what I'll do to you." The wind grew stronger. Dust rose into the air. Lights in the sky marked approaching ships. Jack grabbed his bag, tossed her a cloak, and said, "Then let's make sure neither of us loses." And they ran into the canyons, into the unknown, while the stars above watched in silence. The canyons were cold, silent, and endless. Jagged rocks reached toward the sky like frozen claws. Jack and Liari moved quickly, their feet crunching on gravel and dust. Above them, red lights blinked in the night sky. Search ships, circling. Like vultures, Jack's backpack bounced with each step. He had packed only what he needed: his rifle, some rations, water, and a power cell. Liari kept her cloak tight around her, hiding her glowing skin. But no cloth could hide the faint shimmer that pulsed beneath her skin. It was getting stronger. "We can't keep running like this," she said, breathless. "We have to," Jack replied. "They're tracking us. Probably by heat or energy signature." Liari slowed, leaning against a stone wall. "No, they're tracking me. My body gives off a signal during the peak. It's part of the season, a natural beacon." Jack cursed under his breath. "So they don't even need tech? They can just follow your biology?" She nodded. Jack looked around. They had to hide. Up ahead was a narrow crack in the canyon. Wall barely wide enough for one person. "In there," Jack said. He led her inside. The passage was tight, dark, and led downward into a cave. Jack switched on his flashlight, and they descended in silence. The walls were cool. Small glowing bugs flickered like tiny stars. The deeper they went, the quieter it became, until the world outside felt far away. Finally, they reached a small chamber. The ceiling was high, the air still. "We rest here," Jack said. "Just for a few hours." Liari sat down slowly, her hands trembling. "How much time do we have?" Jack asked. "Until the bond becomes impossible to stop?" She whispered, "Maybe one more day." He sat across from her, watching her carefully. "You saved yourself by escaping your people. Do you regret it?" "No," she said, "but I didn't think I'd find someone like you. The bond shouldn't have chosen you. You're not even of my kind." Jack gave a half smile. "Maybe. Your biology has bad taste." Liari actually laughed softly. But her smile faded quickly. "You don't understand, Jack. When the bond completes, I'll feel everything you feel. You'll feel me. My fear, my anger, my desire. There's no hiding anymore. It's not romantic, it's permanent. A fusion of two minds." Jack was quiet for a moment. "I've seen enough pain in my life, Liari. I've seen good people die alone. I've seen entire cities fall because no one cared enough to stay. If this bond means you won't be alone again, then maybe it's not the worst thing." She looked at him with wide eyes, unsure if she was hearing truth or kindness. Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed from above, metal scraping rock. Jack stood instantly. "They found us." Liari gasped. "They'll drop gas or worse, heat rays to flush us out." Jack turned off the light and signaled her to stay quiet. He moved toward the entrance of the chamber. Crouching low, voices echoed faintly through the tunnel. Strange, guttural, alien. "Liari of the Silver Flame." One voice called out in a booming tone, "Your season is not yours to choose. Return to us, or we'll take the human instead." She clenched her fists. "They won't stop." Jack looked at her. Then let's make them stop. He handed her a small object, a pulse grenade. She blinked. You had this the whole time? Military habit, Jack said. But we need to use it smart. He pointed to a ledge above the entrance tunnel. They'll come in single file. You climb up. When the first one enters, I'll distract them. Drop the grenade when I say go. Liari climbed without argument, her strength returning despite the pressure of the bond. She moved like a shadow, silent and fast. Jack took position behind a rock near the tunnel entrance, holding his rifle. His heart pounded, not from fear, but from something deeper. Something pulling him closer to her. And it wasn't just instinct. Anymore. Footsteps echoed closer. Then a tall alien male stepped into view, armor gleaming. Eyes glowing red. Jack stepped out. Looking for someone? The alien raised a plasma spear. Foolish human. You think you can protect her? Jack smiled. Go. The word echoed. Liari dropped the grenade. A sharp flash exploded through the tunnel, blinding the intruders. Jack fired. The first one dropped. The rest backed off, coughing, stunned by the blast. Liari leaped down beside him, hand in his. Now what? We keep running, Jack said. But next time, we make them afraid to follow. She looked at him, eyes glowing, breath fast. You're more than just the match, Jack. You're becoming part of me already. He didn't answer, because he felt it too. The sky above the canyon burned with morning light, but Jack and Liari stayed in the shadows. After escaping the ambush in the caves, they had moved swiftly through the rocky terrain. Neither spoke much. They didn't need to. The silence between them said enough: shared breath, shared fear, and now something more. Liari walked ahead, her silver hair hidden under Jack's hooded cloak. Her body was changing. He could see it. The shimmer beneath her skin now glowed steadily. Not like a wound, not like sickness, but like something waking. Up inside her. Jack, she said quietly as they paused behind a boulder. I need to tell you something. He looked at her, cautious but calm. Go ahead. There's a reason they want me back so badly. My clan isn't just hunting me because of the season. I'm not just anyone. I'm marked. Marked? Jack asked. She rolled up her sleeve. Beneath the fabric, 3 glowing sigils burned softly on her arm. They pulsed like living light. These are royal bonds, she said. They're placed on those chosen to carry bloodlines forward. Only females of high fertility get them. If the bond completes with someone unapproved like you, it breaks the cycle. My clan will lose control of one of their royal breeders. Jack's jaw tightened. So that's what you are to them, just breeding material? To them, yes. To myself, I wanted to be free. That's why I escaped. But the bond doesn't care about freedom. It only follows instinct. Jack looked at her differently, now not with fear, but with fire. Then let's break their rules. Let's give the bond a new reason to exist. She stepped closer. If it finishes, Jack, you won't be the same. I won't either. You'll feel things you've never felt. We might not be able to unlink. Even death might not break it. I'm already not the same, Jack said softly. You think I saved you? Maybe you saved me too. Suddenly, a sharp chirp echoed from Liari's band. She looked down. Her face drained. They've released the Seekers. Jack frowned. What are Seekers? She didn't answer right away. Then, her voice dropped. Machines bred with instinct. Once they taste your scent, they never stop until you're dead or taken. We move. Now, Jack said, pulling her along. They made their way toward the cliffs at the edge of the canyon range. In the distance, the ground shimmered. Small, spider-like creatures, metal and bone, moved in perfect lines, sniffing the air. Their eyes glowed red. Seekers. Jack scanned the ridge ahead. There was an old station built into the rocks. Maybe an abandoned mining post. There, he pointed. Cover and height. Let's go. They sprinted uphill, the wind burning their faces. Behind them, the Seekers clicked and hissed, closing in. By the time Jack kicked open the rusted door to the station, Liari was nearly collapsing. He set her down in a corner, pulled a metal sheet over the entrance, and aimed his rifle through the cracks. "They're fast," Jack muttered. "Too fast," Liari shook. "They smell the bond now. It's in my blood. It's calling," her voice cracked. Jack turned to see her skin glowing bright now, almost too bright. Her chest rose and fell in quick gasps. "Liari," he said, kneeling beside her. "Breathe, focus, we're not done yet." Her eyes met his. "I can't hold it much longer. The bond is reaching. It's looking for you." Jack felt a strange warmth inside his chest, like something invisible was pulling him toward her. Then, "Let it reach," he whispered. Double quotes. "No, Jack, you don't understand." She cried. "If it happens here, now, without the ritual, without control, it will be chaos. You might not survive." "I've faced worse than chaos," he said, holding her hands. "I've faced war. I've faced silence. But at least this feels real." Liari trembled. "Then stay close. If they break in, if they stop us." "Now, they won't," he promised. Outside, the Seekers reached the door. They began to claw and tear. Jack loaded the last energy cell into his rifle. "You ready for this?" Liari's body shimmered like a star going nova. "I was born ready," she said, standing. Her hair floated as if underwater. Her eyes became pure light, and from her palms, waves of violet energy formed, unstable, wild, powerful. The door burst open. Jack fired. Liari screamed, not in fear, but as a command. Her voice echoed like thunder. The energy from her hands exploded outward, slamming into the first wave of Seekers, tearing them apart mid-air. Jack covered his eyes from the flash. When he looked again, Liari stood in the doorway, glowing like a goddess of war. The rest of the Seekers paused. They saw what she was becoming, what the bond was turning her into. And for the first time, they backed away. Smoke curled from the shattered machines outside the old station. The metal bodies of the Seekers lay scattered across the rocky ground, twisted and sparking. Some still twitched, trying to crawl, but most were silent, defeated. Liari stood in the doorway, her chest rising and falling like she had just run through a storm. Her skin glowed with waves of light shifting between violet, silver, and blue. Her eyes no longer blinked like before. They pulsed. Jack lowered his rifle. "Are you okay?" She didn't answer right away. Her hands still hummed with energy. Then slowly, the glow dimmed. Her breath steadied. Her knees gave out, and Jack caught her before she hit the ground. "I'm fine," she whispered, "but I've never used that much power before." "You destroyed half an army," Jack said, helping her to sit. "What was that?" She looked down at her hands. "It's the bond. It's changing me. It's giving me more than strength. It's giving me you." Jack blinked. "Me?" Liari nodded. "When two minds begin to link, emotions become fuel. Your anger, your protection, your memories. I felt all of it. I turned it into power." Jack stared at her, unsure what to say. "It's not just biology anymore," she said. "It's becoming something more. We're merging." He swallowed hard. "Is that supposed to happen?" She shook her head. "Not like this. It's not supposed to start before the final moment." Jack looked outside. The sun was setting fast. Shadows stretched across the desert floor, and in the distance, dark shapes moved again. Not machines, ships. "They're coming back," Jack said. "The main clan force." Liari closed her eyes. "If they take me now, the bond will break. It can't survive if they cut me off from you." Jack knelt beside her. "Then we don't let that happen." "But you don't understand," she said. "I'm not just anyone to them. I'm heir to the flame crest. If I bond with a human, they'll call it betrayal. They'll call it war." Jack didn't flinch. They already declared war when they hunted you like property. Liari looked into his eyes. If you stay with me, Jack, they will never stop. Not until one of us is gone. This bond isn't just emotional. It's political. It's history-breaking, Jack chuckled. Sounds like my kind of trouble. A small smile touched her lips, but fear returned quickly. Then we have one last chance, she said. I know where we can finish the bond, the right way. It's an ancient site. My mother took me there as a child. It's sacred to my people. If the bond completes in that place, it can't be undone. Not even by the clan leaders. Where is it? She pointed toward the horizon, beyond the salt spires. It'll take one day if we move fast. Jack stood, already loading gear into his pack. Then we start now. They left the broken station behind and traveled through the night. The land turned harsh salt flats glowing under the twin moons. Wind tore at their cloaks, and the air tasted dry and metallic. But they didn't stop. Not once. As they crossed the final rise, Liari collapsed again. Jack caught her. Liari! I'm fine, she gasped. Just close. Too close. The bond is screaming inside me now. Jack lifted her into his arms. Hold on. The salt spires rose like giant teeth from the ground-white stone towers, glowing faintly in the moonlight. At the center stood a circle of crystal pillars, clear, humming, ancient. Liari stirred. That's it. That's the altar. Jack carried her into the center. The moment her feet touched the circle, the ground lit up. Symbols rose from the stones, floating in the air. The pillars glowed. The wind silenced. Liari stood on her own. Now, her glow was back, brighter than ever. Her hair floated, her skin shimmered, her voice echoed with strength. Are you ready? She asked. Didn't hesitate. Yes. She reached out her hand. Then speak your truth. Jack stepped forward. I don't care what species you are. I don't care what politics follow us. All I know is, I've never felt more alive than when I was protecting you. She smiled, truly smiled. Then I accept, she whispered. Light exploded. Jack's chest burned, not in connection. His thoughts opened like doors, and Liari stepped in. He felt her warmth, her fear, her curiosity. And she felt him. For one moment, they weren't separate. They were one. When the light faded, Jack fell to his knees, gasping. Liari knelt beside him, holding him close. It's done, she said, but before they could catch their breath, ships appeared in the sky, and they were not alone. The sky above the salt spires turned black. Not with night, but with war. Dozens of ships descended like vultures, their sleek metal hulls glowing with clan markings. Red banners waved from their wings, and spotlights searched the desert below. Thunder rolled as engines roared. Jack helped Liari to her feet. Her eyes, still glowing from the completed bond, narrowed as she stared at the approaching armada. They came faster than I expected, she muttered. Jack grabbed his rifle. Do we run? Liari shook her head. There's nowhere left to run. Energy beams struck the ground near the altar. Dust exploded. Jack pulled her behind one of the crystal pillars. We can't hold out against that, he said. Not for long. Liari placed a hand on the pillar. The crystal responded to her touch, glowing brighter. No, she said softly. But we don't need to fight them. We need to show them. Show them what? That I'm not their slave anymore, she whispered. And that I chose. Jack looked around. The salt spires vibrated, now resonating with Liari's presence. The ancient stones had accepted the bond. A message was being sent, through energy, through light farther than any signal. They'll see us as traitors, Jack said. They'll see me as queen, Liari replied, standing taller. The first ship landed nearby. A squad of armored warriors exited, their weapons aimed high, faces hidden behind metal masks. At the front was a taller figure, broad-shouldered, glowing with command. "My brother," Liari said grimly. "Crown Keeper Drellin. He was promised." "My bond." Jack tightened his grip on the rifle. The warriors approached slowly, weapons raised. "Liari of the Flame Crest," Drellin called out. "You broke the sacred path. You bonded with a human. This is a crime against the bloodline." Liari stepped from behind the pillar, glowing, her voice strong. "I made my own path. That altar chose to witness it. The spires acknowledged it. You can't undo the bond now." Drellin didn't blink. "Then the human dies, and you are brought home by force." Jack stepped beside her. "You'll have to go through me." Drellin signaled his warriors. They began to circle. "I don't want to hurt you," Liari said, "but I won't go back." Drellin raised a hand, then prepared to be broken. Before he could give the attack command, the ground beneath them shook. A loud, ringing hum pulsed through the salt spires, shaking sand loose from distant cliffs. Liari's eyes widened. "The bond, it's awakening the ancient defense." Jack looked down. Light crawled through the ground lines of glowing energy rushing from the altar, out to the base of every spire. Suddenly, one of the crystal towers lit up and fired a beam of pure energy skyward. Then another. Then another. The sky lit with giant lines of light, forming a dome over the entire canyon. Drellin shouted orders, but it was too late. The spires had activated. "They're sealing the battlefield," Liari said. "The planet knows the bond has been challenged." Energy stormed through the sky. Clan ships rose to escape, but were struck down by the glowing barrier. Drellin's eyes widened in fear. "What have you done?" he shouted. Jack smirked. "I think she just canceled your throne," Drellin growled. "You don't understand. If this energy seals completely, no outsider may leave. You'll both die in here." "Then we die free," Liari said, stepping forward. "But I don't think the spires want that. I think they're waiting to see if I truly deserve the bond." The spires pulsed. A voice not human, not alien, but deep and ancient spoke inside their minds. "What is love, child of the crest?" Jack froze. "Did you hear that?" Liari nodded. She stepped forward and answered aloud. "Love is choice." "What is bond, bearer of light?" Liari's voice trembled. "It is unity. It is pain. It is trust." "And what is the human?" "To you?" She turned and looked at Jack, her voice quiet but strong. "He is my freedom." The energy flared. The warriors dropped to their knees, unable to stand under the force. Even Drellin was forced back. Jack grabbed Liari's hand. Her pulse matched his. The spires answered. "Then rise, queen of your own fire." The energy dome retracted, lifting the light into the sky like a starburst. Ships that were damaged stopped spinning. The canyon became still. Drellin stood, shaking. "You have no idea what you've started." Liari stepped closer. "Yes, I do. I started a future without chains." She raised her hand, and the remaining warriors lowered their weapons, eyes glowing faintly with bond resonance. "You're changing them," Jack whispered. "No, I'm reminding them." Drellin stared at his sister for a long moment, then turned and walked away. The ships rose silently. The war was over, for now. The desert wind blew softly over the salt spires, whispering through ancient stone and shifting sand. The great lights of the spires had faded, but their message remained etched in every pillar, carried on every frequency. Liari stood at the altar, her silver hair swaying in the breeze, her eyes calm at last. Jack stood beside her, worn but steady, his rifle slung across his back. For the first time in days there was no pursuit, no threats, only silence. "They left," Jack said, still surprised. "Just like that?" Liari nodded slowly. "Not because they accepted us, because they feared what they saw." Jack raised an eyebrow. "What did they see?" "Change," she said. "And change terrifies tradition." Jack exhaled. So, what now? They'll regroup eventually. Find new ways to challenge us. Yes, she admitted. But I'm no longer a runaway. I stood before the spires. I completed the bond. I carry royal markings and now. The bonfire. Jack looked at her confused. Bonfire? She touched her chest, just over her heart. It's what my people call the final stage. When the bond between two is fully awakened, and the union sparks power in both. Your strength. Jack, it's no longer just yours. It flows through me now. And mine flows through you. Jack smirked. So what, you made me part alien? Liari smiled softly. No, I made you more human. Jack paused, unsure whether to laugh or be overwhelmed. Great, so I'm glowing on the inside now. She stepped closer. And you'll live longer. Feel deeper, but yes, probably glow a little. They both laughed, the first real laugh they'd shared since that night she fell from the stars. But Jack grew serious again. You said the bond is political now. That the clans will see this as more than just two people choosing each other. They will, she said, and some will never accept it. But others, they'll question everything they've been taught. That's how revolution begins. He looked around at the towering spires. This place feels like the center of something ancient, like the universe was waiting for someone to break the cycle. It was, Liari whispered. And you did. Jack rubbed the back of his neck. So, am I royalty now too? Liari tilted her head playfully. You'd hate the ceremonies. Too many robes. They sat side by side on the stone altar, watching the distant stars blink overhead. The desert cooled. Jack noticed Liari's body no longer shimmered with unstable energy. The mating season had passed, not forced, not stolen, but chosen. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small holochip. What's that? Liari asked. My journal. I started recording after I found you. I guess part of me thought no one would ever believe what happened. Will you publish it? Jack smiled. I might. She leaned her head on his shoulder. If you do, tell them one thing clearly. What? That she wasn't just some alien girl in danger. She was fire. She was freedom. And the human didn't save her, he stood with her. He looked at her, moved beyond words. Then on the horizon, a soft glow appeared. Not from ships, not from weapons, but from small floating orbs. Signal drones. Peace messengers. The flame crest sent them, Liari said quietly. They want to talk, Jack tensed. Is this a trap? No, she said. This is how. New eras begin with hard conversations. A gentle hum surrounded them as the orbs scanned the area, then projected a glowing sigil in the air. Peace offering request to parley. Liari stood tall. They've acknowledged my right to rule. Jack blinked. Just like that? They saw the bonfire, she said. You don't question power you don't understand, you respect it. Or you get burned, he smiled. Well, guess I better learn how to behave in front of alien diplomats. You'll do fine, she said, grabbing his hand. Just don't shoot anyone, he laughed. No promises. As the stars turned above them, two figures stood beneath ancient spires, one human, one alien, now forever linked. They were no longer fugitives. They were something more, a symbol, a spark, a bond that would change not only themselves, but the galaxy. And as the desert wind carried the last echo of war into silence, a new story began, one born from fire, choice, and love. The end.